This is The Brigand Children, Book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. Part 3, Chapters 11 to 15. For previous chapters or to start from the beginning, navigate to the playlist titled The Brigand Children on this channel or by clicking the card on the right. Don't forget to adjust the speed of this video to match your comfortable listening preference. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to help me produce more free audiobook stories for you. Happy listening.
Chapter 11. Let's get this game started, shall we? I put my game face on and switch off my worrying brain. In this room, nothing matters but the fact that we're all friends who need to relax their grip on life. All but Connor. I'm not sure about him. Hanako jumps up and claps, her whole body sparkling with glitter makeup and excitement. Matthias strides back toward the chairs, his butt cheeks swaying somehow separate from him. Sophie puts on a brave smile, but I can see she feels a bit self-conscious. Whether it's Kiara's appearance, the game, or the strange ensemble of people we have in this room, I can't tell. In any case, I will be more than happy to make her forget all that. Looking at her bunny tail bobbing around as she positions herself is already making me forget most of myself. After the bed dips and shifts a few times, Sophie and Hanako stand next to two opposing sides of the bed, facing away, their bodies displaying the learned comfort of submission. I slip Sophie's mask off, her hair a copper waterfall of orange and cocoa butter in front of my face.
I will flip a coin to determine who starts,
Matthias announces, and produces a coin from somewhere in his latex costume.
Connor, you go first.
As agreed, I run my hand up and down Sophie's upper arm. Goosebumps blossom under my fingers.
I'm tying a single column at the ankles and then laddering up to the knees,
Connor says as he crouches and dips out of my vision behind the high bed. You heard the man, I whisper to Sophie. She smiles, her face serene. It's an expression I'm beginning to recognize. It's her rope face. Despite her fierceness in every other aspect of her life, she's all deep breaths and relaxed features when it comes to rope. She trusts me with it, and she enjoys it. I want to hear her, so I tug at the rope, passing it around faster, making it dig deep into her shins. She moans at first, then whimpers at my final tug. Yes. I smirk. It's my turn to pick. Arms overhead with a double column and attached to a band at the waist. Connor gets to work. I'm ahead of him, already dragging Sophie's hands over her head and behind her neck, pulling the rope down, testing her balance. Her eyes are closed, but a small smile paints her lips. A wrap around her midriff steals her breath away. She exhales, the air from her mouth like the vibrato from a sensual violin.
Basic crotch rope,
Connor announces. He's getting into this too. I can hear Hanako's sharp breaths and her soft whispers to him. Sophie bites her lip in anticipation, and I wiggle my eyebrows to Matthias, who gives another thumbs up. I tie quickly, but my mind lingers on his reactions. He seems comfortable, happy even. Is Hanako helping him get over me? I give the rope a good tug, earning a hiss from Sophie. Time to make this even more interesting. Turn your bunny around. Holding Sophie by the shoulders, I twirl her so she faces the bed, and Hana. They share a giggle. Sophie cranes her neck to look at me.
Why are you making a bunny stare at a pony?
She has a calm smile, but her eyes twinkle with mischief. I thought Hana is a fairy, I whisper in her ear.
How dare you?
I hear from the other end of the bed.
I'm Twilight Sparkle. All the humans in this room are crazy.
I huff a laugh because she doesn't look like a pony. She has wings. Sophie nudges me with her butt.
Yes, how dare you?
Her mock pout makes desire pool in my belly. I get the urge to grab her by the hair and press her mouth to mine. But instead, I take her head and turn it back to face the right way. She doesn't fight me, her neck soft and pliable under my palm. At the corner of my eye, I see Connor gently instructing Hana to face our way. She twists around, bobbing like a penguin. I chuckle, all dirty thoughts evaporating. I had a mission today, and it was to remind everyone that friendship is great. There will be time for other things later. Position Bunny in the middle of the bed, I instruct.
Isn't it my turn?
Connor's confusion makes a comeback.
No rope instruction was given.
Matthias replies, his voice deep like that of a wise wizard. He's definitely enjoying this role of spectator judge. Good.
Black Leather Man, continue.
I bite my lips to hold my laughter. I asked him not to use my name. Connor doesn't need to know he's in a room with Chicago's most wanted man. But Black Leather Man? Sophie doesn't do as well. She squirms in her restraints not because she wants to. Silent laughter is moving her body. She locks eyes with Hannah, who snorts while also trying not to giggle. Some unspoken inside joke transmits in the space between them, power of friendship activated. I lift Sophie and put her in the middle of the soft pink bed, her knees sinking as she wiggles to regain her balance. Connor struggles to do the same, part dragging, part pushing, part instructing Hannah to get in her place in front of Sophie. Now they're close, no more than 10 inches separating their bodies. Exactly where I want them. Attach a rope to the waist rope not connected to the crotch. Pause for dramatic effect. Wrap around opposite Bunny as many times as rope length allows.
What?
Sophie's head twists back. I thought you figured it out already, I reply.
I thought you were going to make us watch each other.
That's a painful lack of imagination on your part. She shakes her head, but there's a smile on her face.
Fine. I'm positively tantalized.
I kneel on the bed behind Sophie, trying not to lose my balance in the softness beneath me. They are both tiny, so it's easy to press into Sophie and wrap the rope around, pulling her and Hanako together, making the space between them dissolve into non-existence. A unified gasp of surprise escapes both their mouths. I secure the rope behind Sophie with the satisfaction of a job well done. Connor does the same with significantly less flair. I step away from the bed to admire my work. Sophie and Hannah are pressed together like two swans on a wedding cake. Their bellies are tied to each other, forcing them to alternate their breathing, syncing it up so that each is inhaling when the other is exhaling. Their breasts are barely touching, their nipples hard points against the fabric of their costumes, rubbing into each other if a breath is a bit too deep. One rope forcing their wrists behind their heads, and another pulling them together make their backs curve, pushing their foreheads together. Beads of sweat sparkle on each forehead, mixing as they take their labored breaths. They sit silent, like two beautiful statues. I step farther back, giving them space. Connor does the same, still confused. He has a length of rope in his hand, probably trying to figure out if there is anything more he can do. The mood of the room has shifted. It was fun and easygoing, but the air now crackles with tension and intimacy. What looks like a staring contest between Hannah and Sophie, I decide is a conversion, soul to soul. Something Matthias and I should really have, but that's not how men do it. We are both more or less direct, making certain subjects difficult to broach, no matter how close. I slide my eyes to the side where Matthias is sitting back in his chair with a smirk like a villain.
I want Matthias to move in with me and the kids,
Hanako says softly, surprising all of us. Her voice is hoarse. Sophie's eyes widen in response. This is news for her too. I can see her processing it all as she moves her forehead from side to side.
When?
She asks, her voice equally ragged.
as soon as possible.
I glance at Matthias again, who is biting his lip. You were going to tell me, I assume? My voice comes out harsher than expected.
Of course I was, but you asked me to do something yesterday. I agreed, no questions asked. For this, please, do the same.
Matthias's face is solemn, like he's some sort of martyr. I wasn't planning on questioning him or challenging him on his personal decision. Yesterday he posed some questions and more than one complaint, but I let it go. It's much easier for me to swallow that he'll be living together with my son than for him to see my father tomorrow.
Lavender,
Sophie whispers. She doesn't have to say it twice. The conversation with Matthias is over for now. Connor, start untying, I order, taking back my place behind Sophie. My hands work fast, untangling, slipping ends through, pulling rope away. When their physical tether is gone, Sophie reaches forward and pulls Hannah into her arms.
We should talk about this more.
Sophie whispers as they nuzzle each other's necks. As they both take their time, I start folding my rope. You moving in with them too? I ask Connor.
Nah, we're just casually playing. I like living alone.
He replies, regaining some of his composure after the frantic untying.
We can still play together, of course.
Hannah says without letting go of Sophie.
We definitely should.
Matthias gets up and goes to him, grabbing his face and planting an aggressive kiss on his mouth. After Connor is released, he readjusts himself in a way that has only one meaning. It's time to split the room before things get too steamy.
Yes, I'm not going anywhere.
He chuckles, then raises an eyebrow.
But who are you?
The question is for me. I adjust my mask, letting a bead of sweat escape from under it. Ugh, leather makes me overheat in the worst way possible. I'm the friendship fairy. I lean on the wall. If I had sunglasses, I would have put them over my mask. Matthias laughs. I deserve a pat on the back for my good work tonight. Excellent job, friendship fairy. Now time to morph into a revenge demon. Chapter 12. The night at the Moon Garden feels like ages ago as I sit in front of a computer and look at the inside of a car, then the facade of a prison, and at last, into its corridors of gray concrete and stolen lives. It was only yesterday I held Sophie after I'd tangled her with Hannah. But the stark reality of change jars in my mind, forcing me to compartmentalize so I can survive until the end of the day. My breaths are shallow. I'm trying not to exhale too loudly in the microphone next to my mouth. Matthias and I discussed the script of the upcoming conversation this morning, when the crisp cold reminded us both that the winter isn't done with Chicago. A full plan is slowly forming in my head, but it requires trusting other people. After being brutally betrayed, that makes one uncomfortable. Matthias's uneven steps blur my vision. I'm acutely aware of his discomfort as his breathing quickens despite his best efforts to stay calm. When the door to the meeting room opens, my computer screen shows 2 rows of chairs separated by a half-wood, half-glass partition. Matthias sits down, and I watch my father stroll toward the chair opposite. There's no fanfare, no dramatic entrance, just an old man in an Adidas tracksuit. Before I can take in his face, Matthias's gaze drops to his own hands, and I look at his long, tanned fingers. He has a ring on his middle finger, a fat silver band with a rotating element. He fiddles with it, turning it this way and that, showing me the phrase engraved across. Memento mori, Latin for remember you must die. I never asked him why he made it and why he wears it. I'm too afraid to hear the answer. I cough, trying to make him aware I'm there with him and ready to get this over with. It will be best for all of us if we get to business fast. This meeting shouldn't drag for the sanity of everyone involved.
Mr. Flores,
I hear my father's voice hoarse and deep. Level.
you're the last person I expected to visit me.
Matthias still hasn't looked up. Tell him I sent you, I say into the mic. He jolts as if he's been lost in thought.
I'm here on behalf of Damien.
Unlike my father's tone, Matthias's is shaky. Once again, I regret sending him there against his will.
Does my son resent you so much to send you here? He should have come himself.
Matthias finally looks at my father. Through the smudged glass, I can see a small smile paint his lips. There are lines of crow's feet at the edges of his eyes. A magnificent bruise mars most of the left side of his face. Isn't he too old for prison beatings? His thick black beard is speckled with white. It suits him in a strange, dignified way. He seems amused by the situation. Maybe his good mood will last long enough for us to extract the information we need. Repeat after me, Matthias, and don't let him rile you up, I say. The camera dips down, then up as he nods.
Nothing to say?
My father goads him. Matthias inhales sharply. Damien has some business to discuss, I say before he loses it and stomps out. He repeats this without enthusiasm.
Well, if I was not jailed, I would have been happy to help with any business. But what can I do when he put me here? I just sit and watch life pass me by.
I swallow hard before my next words roll out of my mouth. Damien is sorry for what happened 6 years ago. He thought he could have an honest life with his family. My father's eyes narrow, and he leans forward.
He's there somewhere speaking in your ear, isn't he?
He laughs.
You don't have to tell me, Mr. Flores. I can see it in your eyes. You're a puppet.
I'm this close to leaving.
Matthias hisses under his breath. I need to defuse the situation. Think about Yera and Kiara. We need to save them. Think how thankful Tanya will be if we manage to get something useful out of this meeting. I'm pleading with him, but I'm not embarrassed. He faces the man who destroyed his life. He stays silent. Please, Matthias.
Fine. Damien can't come see you because the police are looking for him.
Matthias growls, looking straight ahead. My father leans back.
I figured it was either that or you coming to beg me to help you get your license back. So what's he done?
Nothing.
Matthias replies quickly and confidently.
It's Penelope. She set him up so he's a wanted man now.
Ah, Penelope, so beautiful and so crazy. I don't know how I didn't see through her. She got me real good, son, didn't she?
He chuckles, and I wonder if he's lost his marbles.
Even gave her the keys to my kingdom.
An old contact of yours told us you might be able to help.
Matthias seems to have found his voice. I keep quiet. We've rehearsed this, but I'm surprised the words come to him without hesitation. Maybe he's realized this task is like pulling an unwanted hair out. Less painful if you do it fast.
Really? Who's that?
The crisp HD image transfers the glint of interest in my father's eyes perfectly. At least now he's listening.
Let's say he works for the police. He seems to still think highly of you.
Matthias shifts in his chair.
Okay, and let's say I have an idea of who that is. Why should I help you? Or Damien, for that matter. We're not really a cozy family, are we, son?
Tell him, I start, but Matthias cuts me off.
I know what to tell him.
I press my lips shut. My father inches closer to the glass and sneers.
The puppet disobeys its master. If you were mine, I would have you punished for talking back, but my Damien is too soft.
You should help us because we have a common enemy now, and she's been hurting women. She's kidnapped 3 so far, and one of them is dead.
That's certainly deplorable, but...
I'm not finished, Mr. Grey. She used your signature killing method. She sliced the girl's arm and left her to bleed out. She pretends to be you.
My father's brows furrow. The cheeriness drains from his face, and I praise Matthias in my head. He was the one to suggest this as the leading argument, and he was right. It both hurts my father's pride and upsets him on a moral level. He is old school, believing women are off limits when it comes to violence. What happened in my Lavender would have never occurred had he been around. But Penelope was not stupid, unlike what he thought. His chivalrous sexism led him to trust her just as I trusted her. Though I did it out of love, while he underestimated her ambition.
Continue,
he rumbles.
We can't help you get out of jail, but we can re-establish the deck to be more in line with what it was. We can defeat Penelope's gang, the Jesters, and have your family rule the streets of Chicago once again. But we need to use your trusted contacts. She knows too much about us all, so we can't get close to her without initiating a gang war.
Good. Matthias is on a roll. I have no intention of bringing the deck back, but that's beside the point. His confident delivery doesn't escape my father's attention. He cocks his head to one side, considering his words.
The Jesters? That's what she called her little enterprise? It appears I've met some of them already.
My father points to his bruise, but I don't care to ask. It's not that little anymore, I say into the microphone. Tell him our dealers have been pushed back, and we're operating at a loss now.
What? You didn't tell me that.
Matthias whispers. I wasn't ready to, but I think it's worth knowing how bad things are. He clicks his tongue, and I know there will be a conversation about this. We're yet to talk about his love nest information bomb from last night too. But for now, he relays my message word for word.
You know what, Damien? I really want to tell you I told you so. But I'm not sure if I did. I sent you away in your formative years, and you clearly still haven't become a real man. Just think about what you have achieved.
I drop my forehead into my hands and lean my elbows on the table, rubbing my eyes with the balls of my palms. I feel like a child again, helpless and guilty for being myself. He's going to recount all my past mistakes, and all I can do is listen and accept his judgment.
Can you help us or not? Damien is aware of his past.
Matthias comes to my rescue.
We're talking about the future here. If not for the deck, help us for Thomas's sake.
My father huffs a laugh.
You've really come prepared, Mr. Flores. Dangling all that I'm missing in front of my face, trying to tug at my heartstrings.
Is it working?
Matthias's voice is devoid of humor.
What is it that you need exactly? Here's some free advice. Figure out your objectives before crawling here pleading for the help of a jailed man.
We know exactly what we want.
Matthias says coldly.
We want to find Penelope's current lair and the girls. We want to do it before she has a chance to kidnap or kill more. We need a person on the inside, and that's where you come in.
My father shakes his head, rolling his eyes. He's disappointed. Not that I could ever make him proud. No way I'm gonna start now.
You say she knows all of you, so you need my help. When I was convicted, I left you with hundreds of deck underlings. Did you lose them all to your wife's schemes? Don't answer. You did.
He's taunting us.
Why do you always want to have the last word?
Matthias's question is unexpected. I take a deep breath and exhale, chasing away memories of other times my father's domineering attitude has peeved someone. Usually it was me. He waves the question away like it is insignificant. For him, it probably is. It's just the way he is.
To help you, I will need to call in a favor. Favors are the most expensive currency we have.
He starts, his voice preachy.
So I'm going to need something in return.
We can't get you out.
Matthias repeats flat out, without giving me time to consider what my father could ask for.
I don't want you to,
he replies.
I'm actually quite comfortable here. 3 meals a day and a free roof over my head.
That's bullshit. The words slip between my lips, giving my exasperation a voice. Don't tell him that, I add quickly.
Okay.
Matthias replies, and I'm not sure if he's talking to me or to my father.
When you sort Penelope out and Damien is no longer wanted, I want to see him and Thomas. Thomas mostly.
Matthias doesn't know what to say, and neither do I. The silence stretches. My father looks comfortable in the plastic chair. He's crossed his legs and rested his palms on his knee, like a picture of patience and benevolence. His posture irritates me. His request irritates me. But I don't want to be a failed leader anymore. I need to make a choice. A memory of him picking up Thomas and pressing him to his chest resurfaces uninvited. I had just landed in Chicago after spending years abroad. I had thought my father and I were done. I had thought I would never step in Illinois again. I was wrong. I was there with my new wife and my small 3-year-old son, expecting everything and nothing at the same time. He deserves to know his grandfather, Penelope had said, despite never volunteering anything about her own family. To this day, I still don't know where she comes from and why she is the way she is. But I no longer want to know. I just want her out of the picture. My father and his entourage of gangsters had collected many suspicious looks at the airport, but that hadn't seemed to bother him one bit when he'd seen his grandson. Even I could tell he was in awe. He had barely spared me a second glance, enamored with Thomas's squishy cheeks. And Thomas, who was always crying in his mother's arms, had smiled. After a 9-hour flight, he had smiled as his grandfather held him. A year later, he lost his grandfather to Penelope's schemes and my naivete.
No?
My father prompts, bringing me out of the haze of my memory. I told him you were dead, I whisper. Matthias relays my words with an even tone.
Wow. And here I thought you were at least humane, if not a strong leader. Another one of your disappointing decisions. Look, I'm not even surprised anymore.
He presses his face to the glass partition. Matthias flinches and my image jerks. The guard behind my father yells something, and he sits back in his chair, shaking his head. I agree, I say, because I don't want to be mocked further. If he manages to help us out of this situation, I guess it's only fair he gets to meet his grandson again.
He agrees,
Matthias echoes. Tell him what we discussed, I prompt Matthias, afraid they are both in a hurry to end this conversation.
Penelope likes conventionally beautiful guys. She's a narcissist, so whoever you get to infiltrate the jesters needs to worship her. They shouldn't be too big and threatening either, because she hates being the smallest in the room. She's 5'7", so it shouldn't be too hard to find someone.
Matthias recites the instructions I gave him after thinking all night. We need to maximize our chances by getting Penelope to open up to this new person. She's not trusting unless she believes she has the upper hand. And her weapon of choice has always been charm and seduction. It will be poetic if we manage to find someone to use all that against her. My father straightens and spreads his palms on the surface in front of him. He narrows his eyes, then nods.
I will call in an old favor and get you a guy on the inside you can trust. After Damien can show his face again, the first thing he must do is arrange a visit and bring Thomas to me. That's the deal. No more, no less. Ask him to confirm.
He can hear you,
Matthias says, giving me time to reconsider. But I stand by my decision. After all, if things go wrong, my father gets nothing, and he may be a brutal man who thought he was above the law, but he never broke a promise after he made one. He never betrayed his allies. Unlike Penelope. Unlike me. I will bring Thomas to him if we overpower the jesters, I say. How much time does he need? He seems happy to hear the confirmation.
I will let you know by the end of the week. Leave your number with one of the guards.
What happened to your face?
Matthias asks. My father chuckles.
Some jesters tried to shake up the local leadership and get rid of me, I think. They didn't make much sense by the time my guys and I were done with them.
Matthias shakes his head.
I regret I asked.
With a shrug, my father gets up, adjusts his chair so it's straight, and leaves without a goodbye. Matthias sits for a bit, then sighs.
It's over,
he whispers. You did well, I say with what I hope is an encouraging tone. He folds the glasses and puts them in a pocket, turning my screen dark. It's not over, it's just beginning. I hope the trouble is worth it. I dread having to tell Thomas his grandfather is alive and well, but stuck in prison because his father betrayed him. I'm a disappointment to my father. I don't want to be one to my son, too.
The Jester Queen. A whole line of the same person, copied and pasted, again. 13 new recruits, and all of them tall, lanky, with shaved heads and pants hanging low around their hips, half their underwear on display. Penelope Wilson Grey curls a lip in disgust as her eyes glide over the boys' faces. There is a bit more variation in their features. A big nose, unresolved acne, face tattoos. One of them has fully black eye lenses and a slim-fit mustard yellow t-shirt, making him look like a creepy pencil mascot. She shakes her head. Her sister Val used to be better at dealing with the new grunts and was often by her side before. Her disappearance bugs Penelope, but the people she tasked with finding her haven't brought any results. Inside her, there is both fear and annoyance. Valerie can ruin her if she decides to move against her, but at the same time, if something has happened to Valerie, it's a direct action of disrespect toward Penelope. Curtis Jericho stands by the end of the line of potential new recruits, beaming. You're proud? Penelope's words are a sharp jab, not a question.
What's wrong this time?
Curtis's face drops. They're all the same. Penelope throws her arms in the air. They're all the same.
Surely that's a good thing.
Curtis whines.
Better if no one can tell them apart.
Maybe, she thinks. But none of them please her. None of them have half the class or menace that her husband exuded by just being there. She clicks her tongue, unable to stop her annoyance from seeping into her surroundings.
We're not all the same.
She hears a voice she can only describe as boyishly cute, airy, humorous, and higher in pitch than she is used to. Then Penelope Wilson Grey sees him, someone who pleases her from first sight. Thick blonde curls, so pale they shine in the muted lighting, well-fitting skinny jeans, and an orange parka. A short boy, looking not much older than 20, is hiding inside it. You are? She rolls the last word on her tongue as she walks to him, her high heels in rhythm with her suddenly quickened heartbeat. She is excited. None of her underlings look like that.
Very honored to meet you,
he says with a wide, easy smile. No one smiles so purely here. Never. She narrows her eyes and examines his face. It's beautiful, like a French vase from the 18th century. His eyes are two aquamarines between the gold of his curls. His jaw has a soft edge that, together with the lack of facial hair, makes him appear too young to be in this roll call. "Your name?" she says. She can't really manage anything more because she is mesmerized. He has thick, light eyelashes. They look like feathers on his round eyes.
Alan.
His tongue sticks out a little between his teeth as he emphasizes the L. His eyes drop shamelessly to Penelope's chest, half exposed in her low-cut blouse, then go slowly up. When their gazes meet, Penelope's face is burning under her generously applied foundation. "Just Alan?" She manages through a hiccup lodged in the middle of her throat.
Alan Shane, at your service, Jester Queen.
Days pass in fruitless efforts to secure a drug supplier. The tension in Penelope's body builds in the nagging pain in her lower back, in the ache of her jaw, which is constantly clenched, in the blisters on her feet, from high-heeled shoes that make her feel powerful in the day and leave her feeling feeble at night. On day 4, she relents. Self-care needs to occur before she combusts from all the stress. Her favorite form of self-care is sex. Nothing makes her skin glow better than an orgasm or 5. She picks up her phone to call Curtis, then hesitates. Can she do better? Of course she can. She's the boss. She calls Curtis because he's still her trusted man. But instead of his presence, she requests another. While she waits, she removes all parts of her business persona. She discards her pantsuit, shoves the heels under her dressing table, and slips her tired feet in her pink soft slippers. She unravels her bun and lets her long brown hair fall in soft waves on her back. She leaves her makeup on. Bare skin makes her feel vulnerable, weak. No one in this compound has seen her without the face she wants to show the world.
You called for me, my queen.
The door opens, and Penelope smiles, the hairbrush in her hand stilling at the sight of him. No one really calls her a queen, despite how hard she tries to push her underlings. Their mouths are full of general, boss, madam, sometimes even simply Penelope, which makes her blood simmer. No one accepts her as their queen, no one but the new recruit, Alan Shane. And Alan Shane is in her bedroom now, all fluffy golden curls and Bahamas blue eyes. She is wearing a nightgown that leaves little to the imagination, a long satin piece with lace trims on each hem. The golden thread weaved inside glitters in the semi-darkness as she gets up to welcome him. She sways her hips in a motion she hopes looks enticing. Her heartbeat tickles her ribcage in a way that is not new, but almost forgotten. The last time she felt like this was when she had set out to conquer Damien Grey. "You said you were interested in a fast progression through the ranks." She purrs the words out, hoping he catches her meaning fast, hoping he won't reject her. Alan Shane is interesting to her because she doesn't know if he wants her or not. No, that's not correct. She doesn't know at which stage of liking her he's at. Everyone succumbs to her charm eventually. The question is, how desperate they appear. In the muted light of her bedroom, Alan doesn't seem desperate. In fact, his whole body screams distant politeness. Penelope Wilson Grey is embarrassed that she wants to wipe the gallant smile off his face and make him show her his ugliest side. She knows he has one, no matter how well he hides it, because everyone has hidden darkness.
I want to assist you in any way I can. Getting a job with more responsibility means I can be even more useful.
His voice is so sincere she believes him right away. And if I told you I want to be assisted on a personal level, unrelated to your work at the Jesters? Penelope closes the distance between them and presses her palm on his cheek. His skin is hot under her touch, her fingers cool from the nervousness leaking from the pores in her hand.
You're the Jesters,
Alan says as his smile spreads across his face, lighting up his eyes with amusement.
Everything is assisting you on a personal level. You're the sovereign of this queendom, aren't you?
She is not sure how to react, so she only stares while he takes her hand and moves it to his lips. He plants 3 chaste kisses on the inside of her palm, following the crease of her lifeline. Penelope catches a whiff of the scent of his hair as he does this, and an unruly curl dangles in front of her eyes. He smells like mango. She wonders if he'll taste like mango too. When he straightens, their gaze is level, intertwining easily on the same plane. She is usually taller, her heels giving her inches above him. But tonight she is barefoot, and they are the same height. She's never been with someone so short. When Penelope Wilson Grey kisses Alan Shane, her neck doesn't hurt, her feet don't strain up. She grabs his head, encircling it in her hands, and pushes her tongue in his warm mouth. He doesn't fight her. In fact, he welcomes her advance, his smile unwavering. This is also unexpected. The underlings she takes to bed usually leer, making her feel like a dirty whore, or accept satisfying her as an unfortunate part of being a jester. They go through with it, and Penelope still gets off on the power she holds over them. They get off because they know sleeping with her means better prospects in the gang. Male gang leaders do it all the time, so why shouldn't she? Her hands travel down Alan's slim body. He's wearing a thin V-neck sweater the color of fresh spring grass. There are hard muscles under her fingers, and in that moment she forgets she ever questioned how attracted she was to him. Her eyesight blurs when he breaks the kiss only to dip his head and nibble on her neck. He navigates her to the bed like the bedroom is his, like he owns the space, like she is his. When her clothes come off, she reaches for his pants, but he stops her hand.
This night is all about you.
He spreads her legs with his knees without letting go of her waist. He nestles on top of her, and Penelope's skin burns at every contact point. Alan's warm mouth becomes the center of her world, a new, perfect world.
Sophie the Brigand Wraith. When Jerry Jericho calls me back to his office, I'm reluctant to go at first. I didn't like his tone last time, and how his fat fingers had pinched my deed, refusing to let go. But my mood is still good, so I don't dwell on it. The rope marks from the party in the moon garden have faded, but the memories of it remain blazing in my mind. An endorphin-boosted confidence swells around me every time I think about my Lavender Phantom. Despite his desire to shed off that identity, I find that I'm clinging to it in secret, putting our names together like a teenager with a crush. The Wraith and the Phantom. It sounds good, like a power couple out to right the wrongs of the world without being seen. My skin tingles at the possibilities of what we could be if we embrace those sides of ourselves. Yet every time I allow thoughts like these to settle in my mind, another part of me emerges to reprimand me for being selfish and unrealistic. Melanie and Thomas still need guardians, and it is universally accepted that peace is better than ongoing trouble. But walking with danger has a thrill little else can replace. On the phone, Jerry alluded that he had found who the owner of my building is. His tone was clipped, and I wondered if he knew the person. I made a follow-up appointment and didn't lose any sleep over it. When the day comes, and I enter the modern fortress of glass once again, I'm prepared for its sleek coldness. I don't look lost anymore, don't take out my phone. I walk to the reception and say, Jerry Jericho, 11 a.m. I'm dressed like myself, unlike any of the other women I've passed on the way up. Comfortable trainers instead of heels, leggings, and a striped flannel shirt instead of a pencil dress. My hair is tied in a loose bun at the back of my neck, only to stop the wind lashing it in front of my face. I stand out, but I don't mind. I wait for the good-looking blonde behind the counter to stop scrolling. Finally, the receptionist gives me a measured, rehearsed nod and gestures toward a chair in the waiting room. I sit down, expecting the young curly-haired man to come pick me up. When I see his familiar face appear in the doorway, instead of that of the rotund Jerry, I press my lips in an expecting smile. His smile back makes me drop mine. His eyes look me up and down, evaluating me. Something in his gaze makes me want to cover myself, but I stay collected. He leads me to the same office at the back. He doesn't make conversation, but his smile remains plastered on his face. When he holds the door open for me, he takes up most of the space in the frame, making me shuffle sideways to go in. trying to avoid any part of me brushing against his body. Jerry Jericho is already inside, typing away at his tiny MacBook, his fingers curled like disfigured sausages over the keyboard. You have some news for me? I start the conversation this time without bothering to sit down first. My confidence has waned, and I don't want to spend any more time in this office than necessary.
Sit down, Miss Taylor. Have a glass of water.
He gestures toward an arrangement of crystal glasses and a clear water jug. No, thank you, I say, but sit down. The deed is crumpled in my back pocket, and I don't hurry to get it out. I want to hear what he has to say first.
I looked into the owner of the building you claim to be rightfully yours.
He starts with a sing-song voice.
It brought up a really interesting name.
The flair of his statement is dampened by my blank stare. Which is?
Mateo Grey.
I know that last name. How common is it? Who is he? Did you get in touch with him? Jerry Jericho and curly-haired boy share a look.
He used to be quite famous around Chicago. A businessman. Had fingers in a lot of pies, if you know what I mean.
The brigand wraith within me knows very well what he means, but I already knew that man was a gang leader. The only question was how to get in touch with him. And did you get him to talk to you? Another shared look. And was this a slight nod between them? The brigand wraith rises to the surface of my mind, sixth sense tingling at the sudden shift in atmosphere. There's something crooked with these two.
Not yet. He's in prison, so he's not actively maintaining his assets. He has probably given someone power of attorney because the property is in good condition. That person can transfer ownership to you or decide to keep it to themselves. I can't imagine old Mateo can say much about it now.
He snickers at this, an ugly sound which makes me want to slap him.
We can make the inquiries on your behalf.
Curly-haired boy chimes in. I narrow my eyes, focusing on the shape of his face, on the build beneath his clothes. For the first time, the image of him is clear in my eyes. I see a thin version of Jerry Jericho. Curly-haired boy is handsome because he's young, but there's something dark behind his eyes. They're the same shade as the lawyer's, the same shape. I untangle the coil in my gut, looking for the source of the shift. The situation shouldn't be tense, but it is. I should feel confident, but I don't. I must leave. It's an instant decision, like marbles set on converging paths crashing together. I will look into it myself, thank you. Email me the invoice for your services. Jerry Jericho frowns, then regains his composure.
Your choice. Don't forget to book your next appointment, for when you get the paperwork in order.
I've stood up before his sentence is over. I walk out without a goodbye and head straight to the elevator. I won't be returning. Mateo Grey. Where to begin? I know another person in the same field with the same last name. A good place to start.
Chapter 13. Something doesn't sound right. A little word, a stray syllable, a discordant vowel. Reading the written words fills me with the same jarring feeling I get when I think about the future. I string my wishes together in my mind. A family, a home, peace, and love. But something rings with falsehood. Or maybe I've lost my ability to hope. I look at the starless sky, clouds covering the vast expanse of black, making it gray in the night light. I climbed up to Lavender's roof for a breath of fresh air, chasing a stroke of creativity I didn't feel I could complete in my windowless tomb quiet club. I haven't been here since before my captivity, but now that I can lie on the flat surface and look up, my stare buried in the cosmos above me, I regret my unwillingness. There are no cameras close by, no people, no enemies. Only me, my notebook, and my dissonant poem. A dog barks in the distance. A police siren overshadows it. Someone laughs just below as they walk by Lavender. Chicago is full of life, as always. Usually this realization fills me with dread, reminding me of my situation, which is far from the fulfilling life I once dreamed of. But tonight, it's bittersweet. I'm waiting, but there is a purpose to my inactivity. When my father's spy infiltrates the jesters, I will be able to form a good plan. I only need to give it a few days. When I go down to the sub-basement, I find the lights on in the office infirmary. Sophie is sleeping at the desk, her arms cushioning her head. She mumbles something, and I brush off a stray lock of blonde hair from her face. She starts, her eyes darting around while she remembers where she is.
I missed you.
She rubs her face, then outstretches her arms toward me. It's been a week since the Moon Garden party, and I've felt her absence every day. I scoop her up like a child and take her to the sofa in the corner, opposite the cot where Matthias used to treat abused boys and girls, the victims of Lavender and the jesters. Her eyes linger on the space.
How did you meet Matthias?
She asks in a small voice, as if asking too confidently will stop me from replying. He saved Thomas's life.
Back when he was practicing?
Yes, he used to work in the pediatrics department, a promising young anesthesiologist. I pluck the memory from my mind where it's been stashed for years. When Thomas was young, he was often sickly. We did tests and eventually they found a heart defect. A surgery was scheduled, and on the day, everything supposedly went well. They wheeled him out, put him in the ICU, and my father and I took turns looking after him. He was 5 then.
Only you two?
Sophie shifts in my lap to look at me. No, I think Valerie came a couple of times too. He wouldn't wake up for days, so we were all getting increasingly agitated. Then one night my father's patience ran out. He stormed out of the unit and came back with Matthias, dragging him by his doctor's coat.
Your father thought something had gone wrong during the surgery?
Yes, and he blamed the surgeon and the anesthesiologist. I was so embarrassed then. I tried to talk him out of those feelings before he hit Matthias, or did something else he would regret. But then something started beeping, and the ICU went from this deadly quiet place to complete chaos. Matthias dashed in to help. Something was happening to Thomas. Next thing I remember was that he was being wheeled back to surgery after Matthias revived him. But my father was furious. He still blamed the hospital for making a mistake. It only got worse when Thomas was brought back to the ICU, and we were told that he had a broken rib and a punctured lung on top of everything else. Matthias's CPR had come with complications. This was the last straw for my father, who vowed to destroy his life.
And he did, didn't he?
He manufactured allegations of malpractice against him. He paid off parents, nurses, other doctors. If he couldn't buy a person, he just scared them into keeping their mouths shut. In the end, I was the only one who testified in his favor at his hearing. His license got suspended and I asked him to come work for me.
Didn't your father hate that?
He did. After Thomas recovered, I want to think that he realized what a mess he'd made in his anger. But he never apologized to Matthias and never righted his wrong before going to prison. My father is good at many things, but owning up is not one of them.
Matthias hasn't had it easy.
Sophie sighs.
Doctors are people too, I guess.
Her comment picks at something that has been bugging me ever since our previous conversation about Matthias. You don't like doctors, do you? She presses her lips in a thin line. Her quietness doesn't deter me. I wait patiently.
I guess it's trauma of some sort. When my parents died, I had to go and confirm their identities. All the people in the morgue looked like doctors. White coats, blue gloves, and the smell. I will never forget the smell. It was such a strong chemical stench that even the tiniest whiff of it now transports me straight to that moment. Last time I was in a hospital, to get Melanie checked out after her lavender scare, I had to actively talk myself through every step of the way.
I squeeze her closer to me. I don't want her to get lost in that upsetting memory. I open my mouth to stop her, but she continues.
When I looked at their faces, it was like something within me fractured. Like my spirit came out of my body and the thread that connected them just snapped.
You were in shock, I whisper. She intakes a full breath, then exhales slowly, her eyes closing.
I don't think I ever really got over it. I don't even know how to tackle that. And I live with it just fine. I just need to avoid doctors and hospitals.
I bury my head in her neck, nuzzling the gentle skin behind her ear. Matthias doesn't practice in a white coat here. This will be a trigger-free zone, and if you need help dealing with this in the future, I will be here in any way you need me. She turns to face me, her face a lot calmer than I thought it would be. She seems comfortable in my arms, and in this simple moment, there's nothing more that I want to do than protect her from the world till the end of my days.
The future?
She mutters before parting her lips and pressing them to mine. We kiss slowly, like time has stopped, like there's just the two of us with our entwined bodies and fragile dreams. Then she pulls away, leaving my skin vibrating with desire in every place she touches. She relaxes in my embrace and sighs.
Will Penelope let us have a future? How do we keep living normal lives after all that's happened? How do we leave this life behind and do those simple everyday things?
We will have to fight for it. But when it's all over, one way or another, life will become a lot more boring. I smooth her hair in lazy strokes, keeping my body from tensing. The topic of Penelope brings about a wave of insecurity. I can only hope we all come out at the end of this, alive and well. Expecting Sophie to look reassured, I'm surprised when her eyes slide sideways as I mention the word boring. Then it hits me. You like the danger. You don't want a mundane existence. There's a specific kind of person who can't shake the need to have their adrenaline fix. They can suppress it, they can try to replace it, but once they know exactly what it is that they're missing, they can't ignore it. The job of finding the ledgers upstairs mere weeks ago has changed Sophie's life from an uneventful reality to the dark pull of a past she probably still longs to relive.
I like the rush. I used to get it in the moon garden by being suspended and twisted until I reached my body's limit. Until my head quieted to tell me it's fine. I can live my life without breaking and entering, without lockpicking.
Sophie's words are but a whisper. And Lavender changed that.
Lavender, yes, but you too. Tanya. Luna hiring me because I was the best at what I did a lifetime ago. Matthias trusting me with his cool, wacky inventions. Hannah and Melanie looking at me like I'm some sort of superhero. When Penelope is dealt with, are you really going to give it all up? Settle down with Thomas and never touch anything illegal?
Her voice cracks, but I can't read the emotion hiding in her face. She's tensed up, like she expects me to reprimand her for speaking her truth. But what's wrong with settling down? My own words are small. It's everything I've ever wanted. To break free from my father's illegal legacy and make something of myself. Even if that something is being a father and a property owner.
Nothing. It's perfect.
She breaks the hug and looks straight into my eyes.
But we can be so much more. You can rebuild Lavender. I can support you. We can reinvent the deck. Make it something that is all you.
I don't want to reinvent the deck. I say it gently, but I hope I don't leave any room for further questioning. The deck is dead. It will never rise again. That part of my life is over. The last memories of it will die with Penelope's capture, or death. There is still passion twinkling in Sophie's eyes, however, so I change the subject completely. It's too early for a conversation as serious as this. I like her a lot, and it's obvious she likes me too, but we haven't even talked about what we are just yet. How can we make such grand plans when we barely know each other? Can we keep kissing instead of talking about such weighty topics? The future will come, whether we ponder about it or not, in whatever shape it wants to. She nods, seeming to catch my unease, and I relax my shoulders. I didn't realize I was clenching them.
I will drop the subject. Temporarily.
She adds.
Oh, and what is this? Has the thought of kissing made you happy?
She palms at my jeans, a cheeky smile playing on her lips. My notebook. I wrote something today. I take it out of my pocket.
Read it to me.
She relaxes against my chest. I inhale the scent of her shampoo, orange and cocoa, and it calms my nerves. It's only a draft. I'm open to suggestions, I say before clearing my throat and reading. Through moss, stones, and water plants. The river being flows, forgotten, and its touch is slick, a calming kiss. It loves each pebble and each rock, searching, looking for a stop. A boulder it cannot dismiss, another being, powerful, robust. Set in moist, strong earth it trusts, that it can slow the river's hiss. To love is to err from a pebble to rock, to an immovable boulder, a block. To know is to try, to make a river a still, happy lake. Sophie lets out a shaky breath.
I love your voice when you read.
It's the only saving grace of this poem. The last paragraph doesn't work. I chuckle.
To love is to err. I like that.
Sophie takes the notebook from me.
Definitely keep it in. It's such a kind line. It's impossible to love and never make mistakes. We can't live without making mistakes. To be human is to err.
She laughs, a light sound that lifts my spirit and makes me proud. Of what exactly, I'm not sure. I smooth her hair, expecting her to continue. Her body tenses, then relaxes. She seems to want to ask something else but thinks better of it. All in good time, I suppose. Chapter 14. The next morning, when I reach for Sophie's soft body next to mine, I find emptiness. I roll onto my back, my head still heavy with sleep, when something makes my heart pound. The room is dark, but I can feel a presence around me, like a ghost looming at the edge of my bed. A feathery light touch starts at my legs and goes up in a slow, indulgent rhythm. I take a sharp breath when it brushes against my hard cock. It's not something but someone. And not a ghost, but a wraith. Sophie? Her name spills from my lips like a prayer. She stays quiet, but her fingers continue their path up, tickling my stomach through the cover, then circling my pecs slowly. I let out a moan and will my hands up, still heavy with sleep. I pull her to me, burying my face in her neck. Hair tickles the sides of my face, and I inhale the scent of her. A zesty lemon and green. A touch of jasmine. The memory of Thomas. I push her away with all my strength, shoving her into the darkness, willing her to go back to where she came from. What are you doing here? I say, hissing. Her silhouette steadies in the darkness.
I came to extend an olive branch,
Penelope says in a calm, matter-of-fact voice. I say nothing. A moment later, she flicks the light switch. I'm blinded by the rudeness of it. I don't want you here.
Yes, you want Sophie. Who's that? A new one? You were pretty cozy with that British slag Adrian.
When the word slag rolls out of her mouth, I'm reminded of our time in Oxford. She picked up the slang with ease, quick to adapt to her peers. When I'd met her first, she sounded like she had grown up next to the Thames. Most of her friends were from Essex, and while I picked up some posh English, she was stuck with a Cockney accent. It had taken me months to gain her trust enough to reach her native Chicago tongue, and then it had felt like I'd been gifted with the best thing in the world. Leave, I say, because the memory of myself, young and stupid and so foolishly in love, is not something I want to dwell on. She walks toward the bed and sits on the side, Sophie's side. She smooths the sheets with her palm.
Stop looking for me. Don't beat up my boys. I will give you one of the girls back.
Why? I don't trust her. I know she won't give me anything. But what I don't get is why she's doing all this. Why she's here, looking all safe and smug, as if she's sure I'm not going to smash her head in the wall. I get up, but she raises her right hand and tick-tocks her index finger at me.
Let's keep this friendly. If I don't come back, the two girls will die. We also have eyes on dear old Tanya.
Penelope is bluffing. Tanya's safely tucked in Arcana territory. I spoke to her briefly yesterday, but Penelope's threat to hurt the women in her capture is enough to stop me in my tracks. I glare at her.
You're a nuisance.
Penelope spreads her arms and looks around.
You took Lavender. You killed Chad. Imprisoned Brad. Probably took my sister away too. You've achieved so much, so let's just call it even and stop this.
Lavender is mine. It always was and always will be. I hiss, pointing a finger at her. She catches it in her small hand and pushes it down. Her touch is cold, and I swipe my finger away from her grasp. Chad died in the hospital. Brad deserves to spend his life in jail, and Valerie is missing. Probably sipping cocktails somewhere, away from your venom, finally free and happy.
Whatever you say. Let's not talk about the past. Stop pursuing us, and you get one of the girls back. You can choose which one.
She's smiling, a disturbing, confident smile. Why did you kill Layla?
An unfortunate situation.
She unfortunately slit her arms just like my father used to maim his victims.
Oh, you recognize that.
She claps her hands.
I'm pleased. It was so messy.
I grit my teeth until my jaw clicks painfully. A desire for violence rises up within me, but I push it down. I'm above this. I can make her leave without hurting her. I can destroy her later with the help of my allies and the police.
Do we have a deal?
Her words are a slow drawl which vibrates across my spine. Let all girls go and surrender yourself to the police. Then I will let your underlings roam the streets free without harm. When she rolls her eyes, I know she won't agree to this, but I have to at least try to negotiate.
I don't think you're taking this seriously. I haven't demanded you surrender yourself. I still respect you, babe.
The Cockney accent is on her tongue again. She stands on tiptoes and reaches to touch my face. I flinch away from her touch like there's a wasp in the room. She chuckles. I'm taking this very seriously, I say, vitriol on my tongue. Get out of here, Penelope. She shrugs. Are you going to leave by yourself? Or should I escort you? I take her wrist and jerk her forward. She stumbles, propelled by the force of my tug.
You will learn to respect me again,
she says.
I will try the carrot, then the stick.
With this, she strides out of the room, leaving me alone with the storm brewing in my guts. It is like old times. She comes, says what she wants to say, and leaves without hearing a word of mine. I flop on the bed and cradle my head in my palms, pressing into my stinging eyes. Minutes pass, and I wish I can stay here forever, suspended outside of time and place, free to do nothing at all.
Damien?
A soft voice carries through the thick air of the room like a plea. My heart skips a beat, and I look up to find Sophie lingering at the doorframe. I get up and go to her because saying come in feels strange.
I brought muffins and tea.
She lifts a small brown bag and wiggles it. The scent of vanilla and chocolate swirls around her. I take it from her and sniff appreciatively. My heart still thunders in my chest, but I crack a smile. How much did she hear?
She didn't see me on her way out,
Sophie says. I raise a finger to my lips, then pull out a device Luna gave me years ago. I drag it across the bed, then the light switch, then go out and follow the path Penelope would have taken. I sweep the place, knowing her love for bugs. Sophie doesn't follow me, but before I go up, I look at her with pleading eyes. She understands and nods, sitting quietly next to my bed. My search returns nothing, so she only came to taunt me. When I come back to the sub-basement, I'm ravenous. I'm sorry about this. I sit next to Sophie on the floor. Are you okay? She nods.
Are you really safe if she knows about this place?
It's a question that's been tormenting me for a while. The only thing making it better is the fact that it's only me that's here. If she sent her underlings to destroy me, they would get me and no one else. Until now. I stroke Sophie's cheek with my thumb. It's okay for me, but it was pure luck she didn't bump into you. It's dangerous for us to meet here. I will change the locking pattern of the downstairs door and the locks upstairs, but let's reduce our contact for now. It pains me to say it. As her face morphs into a frown, I regret suggesting it.
No. If we do that, it's like she's won, and I can't let her win. Not even this one thing.
Sophie stands up and extends a hand. When I take it, she pulls me through the doorway and pushes me into the office, our infirmary. She puts the drinks on the desk and pulls out a purple piece of paper.
Let's shelve the Penelope discussion. I have something else to ask you. But try that chocolate chip muffin first.
She starts folding the paper like origami. I take out a muffin and bite into it. It melts in my mouth and will go heavenly with the Earl Grey stewing in my brown paper cup. The premise of this worries me, however. Whatever she wants to ask, I have to be sweetened first. Ask away, I say after I've swallowed.
You aren't close to your father because there's some bad blood between you.
Fact, not a question. I wink.
Do you still keep in touch? I know he's in prison.
She is very hesitant. Not really. I've made contact recently. I take another bite. A few crumbs fall to the floor, and I notice the carpet is in desperate need of vacuuming.
Oh,
Sophie's face changes like a puzzle piece has just clicked into place.
what's your dad's name?
Mateo. I haven't said that name in years. Why? I've been staring at the ground, but when she takes longer to reply, I move my eyes to hers. They are wide, like two coffee beans.
What did he get taken in for?
She asks and picks up her backpack. On the side is a folded purple paper crane. It's a long story. But the short version, I tipped off the police anonymously when he was doing one of his annual meetings with suppliers, workers of all illegal professions and notorious friends. He got nabbed while allowing most of the guests to escape. It would have been all quite emotional if it wasn't for the fact that he's a deplorable human being.
Any chance he gave you power of attorney before that?
I laugh. Would have been great.
Do you know who has it?
She is frantically searching for something now, the bag looking like a shark mouth closed around her upper arm. Probably Penelope, if not someone I have no idea about.
Penelope?
Her voice is so high-pitched the name comes out like a shriek. He liked her. Thought she was going to set me straight. He thought she wasn't involved in my betrayal. The truth is she played him by using me, then played me too. My words come fast like bullets. I try to curb my agitation by stuffing the rest of the muffin in my mouth.
Well, doesn't matter, I suppose. He can change it.
She's determined as she unravels a piece of paper that has seen much better days. It's crumpled and frayed at the edges. She hands it to me, and my eyes are instantly drawn to the big splotch of ink at the bottom.
It's a deed.
She points to the top of the document. Sophie's name is written in the recipient box. My eyes flick to the address of the property. It's an address I'm not familiar with. You own a building?
Not yet.
She taps the ink splat.
It's your father. He signed it 6 years ago and then got sent to prison, I assume.
I look at the address more closely. It is within what used to be deck territory. It all belongs to the Jesters now. You know my father?
Kind of. I met him 7 years ago when Lainey and I came to Chicago. He helped us out.
A frown starts in the middle of my forehead. If only my father had included me in that one operation, I would have met Sophie sooner. Maybe everything that happened a year later could have been avoided. Maybe Penelope would have never got her manicured fingers on the power over our part of Chicago. But it's dangerous to think of maybe. It takes my focus away from the present and erases my future. I have to concentrate. So, what was he like with you? I want to know if he treated her well. I suppose he did. He was always good to women. Thought they were fragile flowers to be protected at all costs. Also thought they were intrinsically good. Penelope shattered that belief for him.
He was very businesslike. Gave us what was promised and left us to our own devices.
He didn't take care of you?
He wasn't expected to. Chief.
My phone rings and she stops talking. It's a number I don't recognize, which means it's either my father or Penelope has decided to harass me further. There's no way for her to have this number, though. When I pick up, I hear a recording explaining the extortionate price of the call. Sophie squeezes my hand, probably aware of the shift in my face. I crack a shy smile, unsure where to focus my attention.
Press 1 to accept the call.
The female voice concludes the monologue. I press it, then realize I will need all my wits about me for this conversation. I get up and walk back to the bedroom, leaving Sophie behind. Mateo Grey is on the line. Chapter 15. I'm sitting down on my bed on the side Penelope sat less than an hour ago. I'm having one hell of a morning. The phone call connects. I don't say anything, and neither does my father. For a few moments, we stay in expensive silence. So, I start dumbly. Hello.
Your voice has deepened.
My father's tone is calm, like he's only calling for a chat. I hope there's something more useful than his awkward company in store. It's a cheap phone. He falls silent again. A prickle of irritation makes the heel of my foot jut up and down. This is torture, so I decide to end it. Did you get anywhere with our deal? He laughs into the receiver. His breath crackles on the line, hurting my ears.
I'm a man of my word. There's someone who's infiltrated the Jesters for our benefit. Soon he's going to go through initiation.
Okay, I drawl out, unsure. Who is he?
Not so fast, and actually that's the wrong question. You should be asking me how is he going to report.
I clench my jaw and glower at the wall. How is he going to report to us? I say with a voice which is calm and a face which is not.
His mission is to get as close to Penelope as is safe. If he finds the girls, he will report to me. If he learns where Jester's HQ is, he will report to me. All reporting will happen only if he feels it's safe to do so.
I don't like this. All information will go through my father first. Can he report to me directly?
Don't be stupid, boy. He's my informant. He's my friend's colleague. No way I'm going to put his life in the hands of you and your volatile little gang.
He spits this out in a second, like shots out of a minigun. His words hurt as much as bullets, too. I know he's right, but I've grown unused to his mental jabs. I need to toughen up if we're going to have many of these conversations. Fine, he'll go through you. We still need to know who he is. What if we clash by chance?
You won't. He's a professional.
My jaw hurts from the pressure of my clench. I move it side to side, releasing some of it. A soft swishing in my head announces an incoming headache. Who is he? I ask for the third time. It really shouldn't be this hard.
I've changed my mind,
my father announces, ignoring my question. My stomach lunges like I've put my foot in an empty space where a step should be.
I want to see Thomas before I reveal the identity of my informant. I realized it wasn't really a good deal. If you fail, I get nothing.
This. I bring a hand to the side of my temple and grab a fistful of my hair, pulling, so I don't lose my temper. I want to scream. Things in my life rarely go my way. I end up facing obstacle after obstacle even when I try so hard to appease everyone. Why can't it be the way I want it?
You know I like the boy,
my father says after he deems my lack of reply has lasted too long.
Let me see him. Matthias can bring him.
It's dangerous, I hiss. Penelope is watching my every move. What if she steals him from under my nose right after I got him back?
After you got him back? What are you talking about?
He doesn't know I remember. If his contact is Carl or anyone on the outside of the people who were involved with Lavender, there would be no one to tell him. It's a long story, I whisper. I'm suddenly very tired. The headache has arrived. I will try my best to get him to you somehow. Keep your informant secret, but as soon as you get an update, call me.
A couple of days and I should have some news for you. And you, instead of sulking or whatever it is you do at that abhorrent place you built, get creative and get my grandson to me.
Abhorrent. A strong word straight out of a thesaurus to describe the pride and joy of my life. Have my father and I ever seen eye to eye? If you knew what kind of danger you're placing him under with your request, you would back off.
So tell me.
His voice is mocking, back to the timbre it had when I was a teenager. I'm paying for this conversation, so no, maybe I'll send you a letter, I retort, but it's a weak comeback.
I'm hanging up then,
my father says, but stays on the line. I have nothing else to say. My finger hovers on the button to disconnect the call when I remember. Wait, are you still there?
What?
Do you remember owning a building at... I rack my brains for the street on Sophie's deed. When I say it, my father hums once. It's a long shot. He owned a lot of buildings.
Yes, although...
He doesn't finish his sentence for what seems like an eternity. Although?
I owned it some time ago, then I gifted it to a friend's protege.
You sure?
I'm sure. I signed the documents. I'm imprisoned, not stupid.
Who did you gift it to? The story starts fitting together in my mind like a jigsaw. Some pieces are still missing, but I can tell what the picture looks like overall. Before Sophie had buried the brigand wraith, she had contact with my father. She was owed a building for whatever reason, and she never got it. Did she do a job for him? I can't see them working together.
That doesn't concern you,
he says sharply, and I'm not sure how to decipher the edge in his voice.
I will call again. Get Thomas's face in front of me. or the help I can offer you will be very limited.
The line disconnects. I sigh, and the relaxation of my muscles forces my back on the mattress. I look at the ceiling, my body heavy and my mind foggy. I should have grabbed Penelope and beaten the truth out of her. Not a very elegant solution, but it would have avoided this complicated, utterly meaningless mess. I drape my arm over my eyes to shut out the world. After a time, a soft knock startles me.
Is everything all right?
Sophie asks. I get up, embarrassed she has seen me like this. Yes. Sorry, just a migraine.
Your tea is cold, but I will make you a warm one. A cup of ginger and lemon for your headache.
She outstretches her arm and I take her hand. It's small and warm in mine. As we walk back to the office infirmary, and then up the secret staircase to the lounge, I want to ask her about my father. On her face, there are unspoken questions too. But we walk in silence, letting an unknown tension build up.
So,
Sophie says, braver than I am.
as I was saying before we got interrupted, it would be good to meet your father. Can you tell me which jail he's in so I can go visit?
Menard Correctional Center, but are you sure you want to visit him?
Serious place.
She cracks a smile.
I'm sure I need to go, but I'm not sure how to broach the subject. Kind of a weird way to begin after you haven't seen someone in years. Seems very self-serving.
These words make me think she doesn't know my father well. Or maybe he was nice to her because she was sweet and young. You don't have to worry about that. He's helping us destroy the jesters, so you'll have plenty to talk about. I have an idea about how to butter him up. He wants Thomas in front of him. I will make his wish come true without compromising my son's safety.
This was part 3 of The Brigand Children, book 2 of the Club Lavender Duet by Lainey Delaroque. To listen to the next 5 chapters, please navigate to the next video. All parts of this audiobook are available in the playlist The Brigand Children on this YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Like and comment to help get this book in front of more readers, and subscribe to the channel to avoid missing out. See you in the next part.